Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, the strongest copy of Dragon Ball. Chapter 81. At this moment, the time of 3 years on the Earth has passed in a hurry. On an uninhabited deserted island, 4 or 5 figures appeared, which looked somewhat familiar. Taking a closer look, it can be seen that these figures are exactly Son Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien Shinhan. And in a valley under the feet of several people, 4 figures appeared at the same time. If Lin Yan were here, he would be able to recognize the 4 people in front of him at a glance. The 4 are Super Saiyan Vegeta, Android 18, TN7, and Robot TN6. As for Super Vegeta and Android number 18, they stood facing each other, and there were some scratches on their clothes. Whoosh! Vegeta was panting heavily at this time, obviously because the battle just now consumed a lot of physical energy. But how can these puppet dolls be so strong? They can't win after becoming Super Saiyan. Vegeta clenched her teeth, looking at the artificial man number 18 in front of her, and number 16 and 17 behind her. With his current strength, he can barely deal with the artificial man number 18, but the 2 guys behind seem to be not inferior to the artificial man. Pretty tricky. What's even worse is that that fellow Kakarot had a heart attack at such a time and was unable to fight. The rest of Son Gohan, Piccolo and the others, although their strengths can be seen in the past, compared with the cyborgs in front of them, they are not at the same level at all. Can't help at all. Although he is very proud and even conceited, he also understands that there is no way to deal with the 3 of them by himself. Then, the 3 artificial humans, how could they be so powerful? A look of horror appeared in Son Gohan's eyes, and he murmured. Originally they thought that the powerful artificial humans that Lin Yan mentioned 3 years ago were number 19 and no 20. But when Vegeta easily solved Android 19, he discovered that the most powerful android is the guy in front of him. Unexpectedly, only a number 18 can compete with Vegeta, who has become a Super Saiyan, evenly matched. And there are 2 that have never been shot. But I thought that if we cultivated well, it would be helpful when artificial humans appeared, but now it seems that we can't help at all. Krillin clenched his fists tightly, and said with a look of fear and guilt. In fact, in the past 3 years, he has been cultivating crazily, and he thinks that his strength has improved very quickly, but those guys are really too powerful. It makes people feel hopelessly powerful. At this time, Sun Yi had a heart attack. Piccolo also frowned and said in a low voice. At this time, on the road between the valleys, number 17 seemed a little impatient waiting, so he said to Gon number 8. Hey number 18, are you okay? If not, let me come, we have to find Son Goku. Shut up number 17, it's just a Vegeta. No, 18 Lu frowned slightly, gritted her silver teeth, and said angrily. According to her data analysis, she should be able to easily defeat Vegeta. But after the real fight, it was discovered that Vegeta's strength far exceeded the strength recorded in the database given to them by Dr. J. Luo. And what's even more exasperating is that he is not sure of winning Vegeta. This is why the 2 of them have been deadlocked for 2 or 3 hours, and they are still on par. Fortunately, the current Vegeta is obviously lacking in physical fitness and energy due to the long-term battle. As cyborgs, they have unlimited energy, so they will not have physical and energy problems like Vegeta. In this battle, you must be the one who wins in the end. Hearing No 18 scolding, number 17 could only spread his hands and hand over the battlefield to number 18 and Vegeta. Cut, I am a Super Vegeta, how can I not even win a puppet doll? Absolutely impossible. Vegeta frowned tightly, and then his feet were on the ground. His feet were instantly cracked, and his body shot out like an arrow from the string. Fist hit number 18. At the same time, number 18, with a delicate body like a civet cat, flashed out to meet Vegeta. The fists of the 2 collided heavily. Certainly. Vegeta gritted his teeth tightly. He never imagined that No 18's seemingly delicate body actually contained such terrifying power. Number 18 also frowned, obviously fighting Vegeta with all her strength. Vegeta yelled loudly, and Gold's aura erupted from his body in an instant, directly knocking number 18 back. Immediately afterwards, the body flashed out, and the fist hit number 18 heavily on the forehead. The powerful force caused No 18's body to fly upside down in an instant, embedded in the cliff next to the mountain road, and smashed a big hole. This time, I will completely solve you. Accompanied by the roar, Vegeta placed his hands at the level of his left shoulders, forming a calyx shape with his palms, and an energy ball the size of a fist appeared in Vegeta's palm. Ultimate Flash. Ha! Then it directly blasted into the cave that number 18 smashed out. After playing the ultimate flash, Vegeta's aura was obviously reduced instantly, and a little sweat flowed out from his forehead. And at the moment when Vegeta's ultimate flash blasted, No 17's body flashed out, directly appearing in front of the cave, and casually sent Vegeta's ultimate flash bomb out. Oh, it was really dangerous just now. Number 18. The corner of No 17's mouth curved slightly, and said in a magnetic voice. He didn't expect Vegeta, who had been fighting for more than 2 hours, to possess such terrifying power, which surprised him. TCH, it was actually blocked. Vegeta frowned tightly. The ultimate flash just now was already his strongest attack. It consumed a lot of his energy. If that number 17 was making a move, he might really be unable to deal with it. Cut. Number 17, who told you to meddle in your own business? That kind of attack can't hurt me at all. At this time, the body of number 18 came out of the cave. The little vest on his body was a bit tattered, and he said angrily to No. 17. Sorry, I couldn't hold back just now, but now it's me. Number 17 still had a calm smile on his face, and said shallowly. Almost as soon as the sound fell, he rushed directly to Vegeta. The speed is quite fast. In Vegeta's eyes, the speed of number 17 is a bit faster than that of No. 18. The shot is also quite decisive. The distance between the two of them was 5 or 6 feet, and number 17 had already arrived in front of Vegeta almost as soon as his body flashed out, and punched Vegeta's face. There was a humming sound in the wind-shaking air of the fist. Vegeta quickly tilted his neck, and barely passed Shi-Kicheng's fist. But I still wiped off a few strands of Vegeta's hair. Vegeta clenched his fist tightly and launched a counterattack directly at number 17. Fist shadows roared, forming phantoms one after another around No 17's body. At this time, Vegeta also exerted his speed to the extreme. Facing such a dense attack from Vegeta, number 17 didn't show any panic on his face, but clasped his hands in front of his chest. His body was like a spirit snake, and he swayed from side to side, avoiding all of Vegeta's attacks. I can't even hit a punch. This guy is even stronger than that woman just now. Vegeta was secretly frightened. Her attack like a storm didn't even touch the hem of his clothes. It seems that you only have this strength, Vegeta. While avoiding Vegeta's attack, number 17 challenged Vegeta with a feminine voice. Puppet, don't get carried away. Let's see how Lao Su Vegeta defeats you. Being provoked by No. 17, Vegeta was furious instantly. The veins on his forehead popped up, and he accelerated his attack speed again. And at the moment when Vegeta's fist blasted out again, number 17 directly reached out with his right hand like lightning, and grabbed Vegeta's fist. Nanani. Vegeta was shocked. Even though his chi had dropped a lot, but that guy took his attack so easily, it still made him very miserable. But there was no time for Vegeta to think about it. No 17's right knee was already pressing heavily on Vegeta's lower abdomen. A mouthful of unknown liquid was spit out from Vegeta's mouth, and the pupils constricted instantly. He hugged his stomach tightly with both hands, with a painful look on his face. Number 17 showed no mercy, and then swept Vegeta's right arm with his right leg like a steel whip. Click. The moment the crisp bone crack sounded, Vegeta's body smashed directly into the stone wall of the cliff like a cannonball. Immediately afterwards, there was a piercing scream. Obviously, the kick just now on the 17th directly smashed Vegeta's stone. Vegeta, uncle. Piccolo, Son Gohan and others screamed out almost simultaneously. That guy actually broke Vegeta's arm with one kick. He is even stronger than the female android just now. At this moment Vegeta is their only hope, and now that Vegeta can't do 10 tricks in his hands, then they are even more hopeless. Then, just as they were about to fly to Vegeta's side and feed him beans, they were blocked by No. 18. Who dares to go one step further? Number 18 looked at Son Gohan and Piccolo with a cold face, and said in a cold voice. Immediately, several people also stopped in their tracks, and Klin's body stepped back in horror. Although the woman in front of her has a world-renowned face, she is not in the mood to appreciate it at this moment. Because the strength that number 18 showed just now is enough to beat them by several blocks. And at this moment, suddenly, a piercing sound rang in everyone's ears. Pock! Then, a familiar figure appeared in front of everyone. Didn't anyone tell you that you're not pretty when you're angry? Number 18. At the same time as the voice of ridicule sounded, the bodies of Sun Gohan, Keelan and others trembled uncontrollably. Lin Yan uncle. Mr. Lin Yan, it's Mr. Lin Yan. Afterwards, Sun Gohan and Keelan shouted excitedly almost at the same time. That's right, the figure in front of them is very familiar to them, and it has been 3 years since they left the Earth. Lin Yan who told them the news about the artificial man before leaving. I didn't expect him to appear at such a critical time. The appearance of Lin Yan meant that they were saved, because 3 years ago, Lin Yan's strength far surpassed Goku and Vegeta. Now his strength must be even stronger, and he can definitely deal with an artificial human in front of him. Squared point 1 who? Looking at Lin Yan who suddenly appeared before No. 18, Lu Mei frowned slightly and asked. Because in her memory, there is no such a character. Then let me introduce you grandly. My name is Lin Yan, and I am your future husband. Looking at number 18 in front of me, gold's hair, beautiful face, and some torn clothes set off a strange temptation. Black stockings set off those straight beautiful legs even more slender, which made Lin Yan stare intently. That's what a gentleman said. As expected, she is worthy of being the number 1 beauty in Dragon Ball. You can't take your eyes off of her. Lin Yan thought excitedly. You wanna die. Looking at Lin Yan's undisguised, appreciative gaze and her shameless teasing words, number 18 said coldly. This is the first time a man dares to look at himself naked like this. But I don't know if he has the ability to tease himself. Don't be so fierce, I was just joking, he. Looking at the angry number 18, Lin Yan suddenly smiled and said. It just happened that I was so full of anger that I had nowhere to vent it. You asked for it. Number 18 glanced at Lin Yan coldly, gritted his teeth, and said in a low voice. Just now Vegeta made her so embarrassed, she kept holding her breath. Now is a good time to take this uninterested guy to vent. Almost at the same time as the sound fell, the body on the 18th floor flew towards Lin Yan. Lin Yan uncle be careful, she is very strong. Seeing that number 18 launched an attack brazenly, Sun Gohan quickly reminded. And the strength of number 18 was indeed as Sun Gohan reminded, and it appeared in front of Lin Yan in almost an instant. He punched Lin Yan. The corner of Lin Yan's mouth twitched slightly, looking at No 18's attack. Xiaonizi's attack was quite ruthless. But the current number 18 is only a little bit stronger than Son Goku and Vegeta, who have just become Super Saiyan. In front of oneself, that is really not enough to see at all. Just when No 18's fist almost touched the tip of Lin Yan's nose, Lin Yan's body suddenly disappeared, and it may not have disappeared completely out of thin air. Nani, missing. Number 18 frowned, and didn't see clearly how Lin Yan avoided his attack, as if he disappeared out of thin air. Okay, what an amazing speed. Piccolo, did you see Lin Yan's movements clearly? Lin looked at Lin Yan who did not know when to appear behind number 18 with a horrified face, and asked Piccolo. Because at that moment, he completely felt that Lin Yan's chi had disappeared, just like that without warning. He knows that Piccolo is much more sensitive than normal people like them in terms of hearing and vision. I can't capture his figure at all, as if he disappeared completely in an instant. Piccolo frowned. With his vision of 6.5 million, he couldn't see Lin Yan's movements clearly just now, but he could see clearly when Vegeta was fighting number 18. The speed is so fast that it is hard to understand, and you can't even see the afterimage. Tien Shinhan also said in a horrified tone. After all, his structure is different from others, and his eyesight is much better than ordinary people. Hey, can a girl stop fighting all day long? At this time, Lin Yan, who had already appeared behind number 18, patted number 18 on the shoulder and said. And almost at the moment when Lin Yan touched No 18's body, those few lines of blue small characters appeared on Lin Yan's retina again. Copy object. Artificial human No. 18 lazuli. Copyable skills. Key blast, high speed movement. reproducible talents, unlimited energy, slow cell aging. Do you want to copy? Looking at the small words, blue, on the retina, Lin Yan wasn't too surprised. After all, he had known for a long time that the 18 strings had unlimited energy. It's just that the cells age slowly, which is a surprise. Because I am originally a Saiyan, my aging speed is much slower than that of people on Earth. If I copy the cells of number 18 to age slowly, my own aging speed will be even longer. Copy the talent of No. 18. Lin Yan thought of it in his mind without hesitation. As for those useless key blast skills, completely ignored. Copy successful. Then, after 4 big characters of blue appeared, they disappeared. At this moment, number 18 heard the playful voice behind him, and without any hesitation, he swung his left foot and swept his right leg towards Lin Yan in a circle. The sharp wind shakes the air buzzing. D. And the next moment, Lin Yan directly raised his right hand, grabbed the anklet of number 18, and released all the huge power. Hey, it's a pity to kick someone with such a beautiful leg. Feeling the smooth texture of black stockings, Lin Yan grinned, and the feeling made him feel dazed for a while. Let go, you idiot. Number 18 obviously didn't expect that Lin Yan would take over his strenuous kick so easily. What's even worse is that his hands are like iron tongs, making it impossible for him to resist. Looking at Lin Yan's stupid smile, he snapped. At the same time, I was extremely shocked in my heart. How could this guy have such a powerful force? It is not comparable to Vegeta at all. Oh, to be able to deflate number 18, that guy looks a bit unusual. What about number 16? Looking at the angry number 18 and the calm Lin Yan, and the number 17 double Abe bracelets on the mouth, with a smile on his face, he spoke lightly. His strength is very powerful. My database can't fully read his strength. Maybe the 3 of us together are not his opponent. Hearing No 17's voice, number 16 spoke calmly. He has no way of detecting Lin Yan's strength at all. The only thing that is certain is that his strength is very strong. Impossible number 16. I am number 17, the strongest android in the universe. It is impossible for anyone in this universe to be stronger than me. Your database is wrong. After hearing No 16's words, number 17 was taken aback for a moment, then immediately returned to normal, and spoke confidently. In his opinion, there is absolutely no one in this world who is stronger than him. As for the casual number 16 in front of him, he completely regards him as a failed work that doesn't know how to fight. So on the 17th, I am sure that the database on the 16th must have misjudged. Looking at the confident No. 17, Tien number 6 didn't want to explain any more. He just looked at Lin Yan and frowned slightly. Lin Yan looked at the angry number 18, and let go of No 18's legs. And the moment Lin Yan let go, number 18 suddenly turned around like a cunning rabbit, and punched Lin Yan with both fists one after another. Lin Yan still had a calm expression on his face. In his opinion, the speed of number 18 was simply too slow. While the body was moving slightly, he dodged all the attacks of No. 18. You are still a man if you hide like this. After attacking for a full minute, they didn't even touch the corner of Lin Yan's clothes. Number 18 scolded Lin Yan with anger on his face. Ah, looking at number 18, who had a distraught face, Lin Yan flashed his body and appeared behind No. 18. He grabbed No 18's slender waist and pulled number 18 into it. I don't care. Am I a man now? Lin Yan lowered his head, just in time to see the frightened face of number 18, with a dull expression on his face. He didn't realize what was going on at all. He was already hugged by Lin Yan. Let go of me. While number 18 was struggling, he directly greeted Lin Yan's face with his fist. Lin Yan grabbed No 18's hand in his hand, and looked at number 18 with a wicked face. Looking at number 18 at such a close distance, feeling the alluring scent, the desire to commit crimes becomes stronger. You can let go, promise to be my girlfriend. Lin Yan still had a naive smile on his face, but he spoke shamelessly. When Lin Yan's words fell, even the cold beauty number 18 blushed, and no one had ever dared to be so presumptuous in front of him. And no one dares to confess so bluntly. Suddenly, she was a little at a loss. Although Lin Yan's voice was very low, he didn't deliberately suppress it, so Piccolo and Son Gohan who were not far away could hear him clearly. TCH, that guy can't be serious, can he? The corners of Piccolo's eyes trembled slightly, and he muttered softly. Number 18 is a cold-blooded artificial human. That guy Lin Yan is confessing his love to an artificial human, is he kidding? Lin Yan uncle seems to be confessing his love to No. 18. Sun Gohan said in a daze. Then, that guy is too courageous. Keelan and Tien Shinhan looked terrified, and they could clearly see the strength of Android 18, which was on par with Super Saiyan Vegeta. And looking at her frosty look, isn't Lin Yan just asking for trouble? You, don't even think about it. Number 18 blushed and struggled violently, but no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free from Lin Yan's control. On the 17th, you have to see how long the bustle lasts, if you don't come to help. Seeing that he had exhausted all his strength, but couldn't break free from Lin Yan's embrace at all, number 18 looked at number 17 anxiously, and shouted in a reproachful tone. Thought you didn't need help. Number 17 looked at number 18 who was ashamed and angry, smiled and said lightly. TCH, you shoot around when you shouldn't help, and pretend you don't see when you should help. Number 18 looked down on number 17, and muttered resentfully. All right. Number 17 gently landed in front of Lin Yan and number 18, and said to Lin Yan calmly. Lin Yan, isn't it? You're a gentleman in such a rough way. Then, the palm was directly aimed at Lin Yan, and a blue energy ball condensed out of the palm. What's the matter, brother-in-law, do you want to compete with me? Lin Yan smiled, looked at number 17, and said lightly. The strength of number 17 is indeed stronger than that of number 18, but it is only a little bit stronger. In front of him, he was still a weak mess. If you want to be my brother-in-law, it depends on whether you have the qualifications. The corner of No 17's mouth pulled out a long arc, and the energy ball in his palm blasted out at Lin Yan without any hesitation. Seeing the rapidly approaching energy ball, Lin Yan blocked number 18 behind him, and then stretched out his right hand like lightning, blocking No 17's blasted energy ball. It looks very relaxed, as if doing a very casual movement. Immediately afterwards, with a slight force on the right hand, the energy ball was directly crushed and exploded. It looks like it really has a little strength. Seeing that Lin Yan took his energy ball easily and exploded it, a serious look gradually appeared on No 17's calm face. At the same time as the faint voice fell, No 17's body flashed out and rushed towards Lin Yan. The speed is indeed faster than the 18th. After a burst of shouting, the fist directly hit Lin Yan. Seeing No 17's fierce blow, Lin Yan punched out directly, but he didn't use too much strength. Because if I used too much strength, number 17 might be killed by my own punch. As soon as the fists of the two touched, they separated immediately. At the same time as the low collision sound sounded, No 17's body instantly flew upside down, and plunged heavily into the rocks of the cliff. Shocking cracks spread from the edge of the hole made by No 17. Okay, what a terrifying power. Son Gohan, Piccolo and others were shocked, and their hearts were even more turbulent. Although they couldn't feel the breath of the artificial man, it can be seen from the speed just now that the speed of the 17 strings is obviously stronger than that of the artificial man. And just now, number 17 defeated Vegeta almost instantly. Unexpectedly, such a powerful number 17 would be blown away with a single punch in Lin Yan's hands. And obviously, Lin Yan, who didn't become Super Saiyan, didn't contribute much at all. How is it possible, even the 17th? Standing behind Lin Yan, number 18 also had a look of horror on his face. Unexpectedly, even number 17 was blown away by Lin Yan's punch. They are modified artificial humans with infinite energy. Is that guy a monster? Number 18 turned her curious eyes on Lin Yan, looked at Lin Yan's back, and became curious in her heart. What is the limit of this guy in front of him? As everyone knows, the moment a woman becomes curious about a man is the beginning of her fall. And at this moment, No 17's angry roar suddenly came from the cave on the rock wall. Then I saw a huge gap directly bursting out of the cliff, and No 17's body jumped up, standing in midair. The hateful power is so strong, it seems that I really underestimated you a bit. Number 17 narrowed his eyes, looked at Lin Yan, and murmured in a low voice. In that confrontation just now, although he didn't try his best, he also felt that Lin Yan also didn't give his best. This guy, it seems, is really like number 16 said, not to deal with. But fortunately, I am an artificial human with unlimited energy bases. Thinking of this, number 17 raised his palms high, aimed at Lin Yan, and 2 energy balls condensed directly from his palms. Then he slammed down on Lin Yan unceremoniously. Boom! When the energy ball fell on the ground, the whole ground shook violently instantly. The violent explosion blasted a big crater where Lin Yan was standing. Feeling the terrifying explosion, number 18 withdrew her body and appeared 10 feet away. She didn't want to be hit by that shock wave. After a while, the flames disappeared and the smoke dissipated, leaving only a huge deep pit where wisps of blue smoke rose slowly. But Lin Yan's body is gone. Number 17, he's behind you. Suddenly, No 18's surprised voice came into No 17's ears. Before number 17 turned around, Lin Yan's hand knife had already fallen heavily towards No 17's neck. The low muffled sound rang almost at the same time as the reminder on the 18th. Lin Yan's knife directly landed on No 17's neck, and the terrifying force instantly knocked number 17 into the air. It formed a slanted straight line, and it was inserted into the rock wall of the cliff again like a cannonball. This time, Lin Yan used a bit more force than before, and number 17 should have lost his ability to attack. After all, although number 17 has unlimited energy, his body is a human body after all, and he can't withstand 2 terrifying attacks at all. No. 17. Number 18 hurriedly looked at the cave that No 17's body smashed out of, and frowned tightly. That guy seemed to be playing with them from the very beginning, and he didn't try his best at all. Could it be that they were just released by Dr. Zhe Luo, and they were about to be destroyed by the man in front of him? Have you solved it yet? Piccolo and the others looked at the cave, but they didn't respond, they just opened their mouths suspiciously. Because they can't perceive the aura of the artificial man, they don't know whether Lin Yan's attack just now has eliminated the artificial man number 17. And at this moment, Vegeta, whose arm was kicked off by number 17, hugged his right arm, covered in injuries, and walked out with a disheveled face. Looking at Lin Yan's figure, he gritted his teeth fiercely. Subordinate Saiyan, actually walked in front of us again. Vegeta frowned tightly, with a look of unwillingness. In fact, as soon as Lin Yan appeared, he felt Lin Yan's aura, but he always wanted to see how far that guy's strength has improved in 3 years. Unexpectedly, just relying on his normal strength, he could easily play with the artificial man number 18, who was hard to win, and even defeated the man-made man number 17 with absolute strength. His strength once again made him completely incomprehensible, but what is certain is that he is definitely more than 100 times stronger than himself. Unwilling, deep unwillingness makes Vegeta feel very aggrieved. Obviously, I am the most talented Saiyan warrior, the noble Saiyan prince. But unwilling to return, the fact is in front of him, and he must accept this fact. In 3 years, that guy has grown even more perverted. Finally I'm willing to come out. Vegeta. Lin Yan looked at the unwilling Vegeta, and spoke in a faint voice. He could feel that although Vegeta's strength couldn't beat Android 17, it was pretty good. After all, his cultivation speed is not as abnormal as his own, and it seems that he has not entered the spiritual time room to practice. Vegeta uncle. Son Gohan saw Vegeta coming out of the cave in a mess, so he quickly jumped up and appeared in front of Vegeta, and handed a fairy bean to Vegeta. If Vegeta hadn't fought against the androids by himself, they wouldn't have been able to stop the 3 androids at all. And at this time, Tien Keqing also walked out of the cave. With a gloomy face, he looked rather unhappy, and the clothes on his body were a little tattered. I am the strongest artificial human in the universe, number 17. How could I lose to such a human? It is absolutely impossible. Number 17 stared at Lin Yan with gloomy eyes, clenched his fists, and roared unwillingly. Swipe. Then, the bodies of number 18 and number 16 flashed at the same time, and appeared in front of No. 17. Number 17, we are no match for that guy at all. No. 18 Lu frowned and spoke. Although they are arrogant, they don't want to admit this fact. But she could also see that the guy named Lin Yan didn't go all out from the beginning to the end. His power is so strong that I feel hopeless. Number 16, who had always been taciturn, also spoke lightly. Although number 17 and number 18 don't know how strong number 16 is, but number 16 himself knows it very well. His power is much stronger than number 17 and no. 18. You two go first. I think I can stop him for a while. Then, number 16 frowned, looking at the two and continuing to speak. VR. Number 17 and number 18 raised their brows, and they had some doubts. You must know that this guy has never fought in the first place. And from what Dr. J. Luo said, he is just a failure. So the two have always regarded number 16 as just a little brother with little power. Go, or it will be too late. Number 16 yelled at the two of them, then turned around and attacked Lin Yan directly. Lin Yan can feel that android number 16 is much stronger than number 17 and number 18 in terms of speed and strength. Quote. Seeing number 16 rushing towards Lin Yan, number 17 and number 18 gritted their teeth, flashed their bodies, and flew out in the opposite direction. The two of them want to escape. Piccolo and the others frowned. These two androids were powerful. If they were sent back to the mountains, there would be endless troubles, but they didn't have the ability to stop them. As for the robot number 16 below, its fist appeared on Lin Yan's mouth almost instantly. Call out. The next moment, No 16's fist directly penetrated Lin Yan's chest without hindrance. Frowning, he immediately turned his head and cast his eyes on number 17 and No. 18. Sure enough, Lin Yan's body appeared in front of the two of them. I can't even stop him. Number 16 smiled helplessly. The speed Lin Yan showed just now made him understand that there is still a huge gap between them. TCH, this guy. Number 17 and number 18 gritted their teeth tightly and stared at Lin Yan. The waves in my heart are tumbling, this guy's speed is too abnormal. Hey, number 17, am I qualified to be your brother-in-law now? A smile appeared on Lin Yan's face, and he looked at number 17 jokingly and asked. Certainly. Number 17 clenched his fist tightly, his facial features distorted. But after a short while, he seemed to understand something, his frowning brows relaxed, and his fists loosened. Looking at Lin Yan, he said lightly, your strength is indeed qualified to be my brother-in-law. Number 17, what are you talking about? Hearing that number 17 suddenly said this kind of betrayal of himself, number 18 was not happy at that time, and looked at number 17 coldly. This guy, who was dealt with so badly just now, wants to turn his elbows out, and he doesn't know if he took the wrong medicine. After coldly reprimanding number 17, No 18's body flickered and turned into a ball of light, disappearing from everyone's sight. Although I don't have any objections, but with my sister's proud personality on the 18th, it's not so easy to be conquered, so you. Come on, future brother-in-law. Number 17 looked at number 18 who had disappeared, and then looked at Lin Yan. After confirming that he had no intention of continuing to catch up, he said to Lin Ni with a somewhat teasing tone. Although Lin Yan in front of him defeated him, which made him feel very unhappy for a while, and even hated him, but after thinking about it calmly, if 18th can find a good home, as a younger brother, he will also be sincerely happy. But now it seems that the only person on this earth who can hold number 18 is Lin Yan, who is stronger than them all. Then, as soon as he turned his body, he followed in the direction where number 18 disappeared. Then 01 and number 16 did the same, and followed them in a flash. The road is long and long. It seems that it is not an easy task to use a gentleman's means to catch up to No. 18. After watching number 18 and the other three leave, Lin Yan shook his head helplessly and said with a wry smile. But I still have a lot of time, so there is no need to be so anxious. Chasing a girl is actually like a cat catching a mouse. When you find it, you don't have to be in a hurry to catch it. After you catch it, you don't have to rush to speak. You have to enjoy the thrill of chasing after me, process. To put it more precisely, it is like two peerless beauties. When one of them is naked in front of you, your interest will be reduced by at least half. Men actually enjoy the process of conquering and losing themselves more. Hey, why did you let those artificial humans go? At this time, seeing Lin Yan let go of the three artificial humans, Vegeta, who had recovered from his injuries, stepped forward, appeared beside Lin Yan, and asked Lin Yan coldly. Vegeta, I told you to pay attention to the way you talk to me, remember, this is the second time. Hearing Vegeta's questioning tone, Lin Yan was a little upset. This guy really thinks of himself as the Prince of Saiyan in front of him. If you think I shouldn't let them go, you can go after them yourself, and you should be able to catch up now. Turning his eyes to Vegeta, Lin Yan said in a playful tone. Cut. Vegeta clenched his fist tightly, cursing inwardly. This guy, knowing that he is no match for those man-made humans, even deliberately said such words to anger himself. Although he was very angry, he had nothing to do, because he knew that he was not Lin Yan's opponent. Lin Yan uncle, those artificial humans are so strong, do you really want to let them go? At this time, Son Gohan, Piccolo, Kiki and others also appeared in front of Lin Yan. At this time, Son Gohan, who looked a head taller than 3 years ago, also asked. Although they are artificial humans, their personalities are not bad, why can't they be let go? Regarding Son Gohan, Lin Yan's tone is obviously much gentler. The androids number 18 and number 17 in the main dimension of Dragon Ball are not bad in nature, and they haven't killed anyone since they were transformed. The only Vegeta who was injured was praised because he was too arrogant and provocative. To talk about other bad things I did, that is, snatch a few nice clothes. As for the artificial man number 16, he is a guy who loves nature very much. But, androids number 19 and number 20, they killed many citizens. Keelan said with some lingering fear. Not long ago, androids number 19 and number 20 killed a dozen citizens in a small city. This also makes them very afraid of artificial humans. Don't worry, the 3 of them are different from android number 19 and no. 20. Lin Yan spoke confidently. Seeing Lin Yan's self-confidence, everyone had nothing to say. After all, if Lin Yan does not act, they will have nothing to do with the artificial man. On the other side, number 17 and number 16 have already caught up with no. 18. Wait for the 18th. The body of number 17 accelerated again and appeared beside no. 18. TCH, number 17, if you talk nonsense next time, be careful that I will kill you. Number 18 still had a bit of anger on his face, looked at number 17 beside him, and said coldly. Actually, that guy named Lin Yan is really not bad. He has good looks and strong strength. Isn't this just worthy of you? At this time, number 17 instantly turned into Yuelao, and began to draw the red line. If you want to find another one like this, if you miss this village, I'm afraid there won't be such a shop. What do you mean, number 16? After finishing speaking, number 17 did not forget to turn around and pull number 16 towards his team. I only know that that guy's strength is unfathomable. I don't know whether he is worthy or not. Number 16 still has a calm expression on his face, which can be regarded as an answer to no 17's question. Shout, that idiot. Number 18 frowned, muttered something, and suddenly remembered the scene of being hugged by that guy. At that time, I just felt humiliated and very angry. Looking back now, I suddenly felt a burning sensation, and my face was burning. Then, number 18 actually felt his heart beating violently, completely uncontrollable. A picture of Lin Yan suddenly appeared in my mind, and I couldn't get rid of it. It's like being enchanted by magic. How is it possible? How did that annoying guy appear in my mind? Do I really have feelings for him? 18th was suddenly frightened by his abnormal reaction. No. Impossible, that guy is so annoying, how could I have feelings for him? It must be that I was too angry and hated that guy too much to have this strange feeling. On the 18th, I comfort myself in my heart. Number 17 looked at number 18, who was blushing, and smiled slyly. It seemed that number 18 was not as angry as she said. In the next time, everyone dispersed. Lin Yan came back to Bulma's house. I haven't seen Bulma for 3 years. During these 3 years, I spent most of my time wandering in the universe. I really miss Bulma. 3 years. You finally come back. Bulma looked at Lin Yan in front of him, and became stronger, with crystal tears in his eyes. 3 years is not a long time, but it is not short either. Especially the feeling of waiting for someone to miss, although it is a bit exaggerated to not see each other every day, but it is also very long. I'm sorry to keep you waiting for so long, but I'm back. Do I have flowers on me? Being watched by Lin Yan in this way, Bulma blushed and said shyly. There are no flowers, but there are things more beautiful than flowers. Hearing Bulma's voice, Lin Yan looked away from Bulma's body, looked at Bulma's face, and said with a smile. During breakfast, Bulma told herself a lot about what had happened over the past 3 years. After Lin Yan told Son Goku about the heart attack before leaving Earth, Bulma told Drive Breves about it, although Drive Breves is a mechanical scientist. But in the medical field, he also knows a lot of medical doctors, professors, etc. So 3 years ago, entrusted by Bulma, Dr. Breves commissioned his friends in the medical field to start developing specific drugs for heart disease. After all, if this drug is developed, it will not only benefit Son Goku. It's about thousands of heart patients on the Earth, and those elites in the medical field will naturally not refuse. Then what's going on now? Has a special medicine been developed? After hearing Bulma's description, Lin Yan asked. I met with Son Gohan and the others before, and after they left on the 18th, they rushed here in a hurry, and didn't ask about Son Goku's heart disease. The specific medicines that have been developed now can't completely cure heart disease, they can only delay the attack time. But it won't take long before we can completely develop special medicines for heart disease. Quote. Bulma said firmly, she believes that with the current technology, it won't take long to develop a special medicine for heart disease. That is to say, Trunks has never appeared before, and his own appearance may disrupt the history of future time and space. Lin Yan frowned, thinking in his heart. For the role of Trunks in the future, Lin Yan actually likes it very much. I don't know if he will appear again in the future. One more thing, you never think, is it about Vegeta? Hee. Suddenly, Bulma smiled slyly, looked at Lin Yan and said Chin. What about Vegeta? I really can't figure it out. Lin Yan shook his head, he didn't have much interest in Vegeta's matter. Hey, that guy Vegeta actually lived with a woman from Earth, and it was Li Qian's that really surprised everyone. Bulma said with a gossipy face. Really, that's really a bit surprising. Lin Yan responded casually. That's good, Vegeta has a good home on Earth. Bulma, I might leave in a couple of days. After breakfast, Lin Yan took Bulma out for shopping and a drive. After all, I turned Bulma into a real woman last night, so I must be responsible for her. It is his responsibility and obligation as a boyfriend and future husband to make her happy every day. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Bulma stopped suddenly, looked at Lin Yan, and asked with some disappointment. How long will it take this time? Unexpectedly, he and I didn't even arrive for a day, and he actually told himself that he was going to leave him again. This naturally makes Bulma a little unhappy. It's very fast this time. At most, a day. Lin Yan held Bulma's hands, and said with a loving look on his face. Sure enough, after that relationship happened, the relationship between two people will undergo a qualitative change. That gluey feeling is completely different from before. God, well, that's acceptable. After hearing Lin Yan say that he only went out for 3 days, the disappointment on Bulma's face disappeared little by little, revealing a playful look. She just got and was really afraid that Lin Yan would leave for another 2 or 3 years this time. It's been 3 years, and 3 years ago, I promised Brawly that when I left the Wampa planet, I would take him away from that ghostly place. Unexpectedly, this delay took a full 3 years. I don't know if Brawly thinks that he is the master, and he has forgotten him after leaving. Thinking about it, I am really ashamed, but at that time I did not have the ability to learn instant transmission, and it was quite cumbersome to go to the Wampa planet, so I was stranded at that time. Early the next morning, Lin Yan started to move the scars immediately after waking up. To be honest, he still has no idea where Wampa planet is. Because it was brought back to Earth by Shenron last time, I don't know the route to the planet Wampa at all, but fortunately, there is a person who should be able to help me. That is the King Kai who lives on the planet King Kai. The 2 antennas above his head might be able to help him find out the whereabouts of the planet Wampa, and then he will be directly sensing Brawly's breath instant transmission past. After thinking about it, Lin Yan didn't hesitate anymore. Almost after leaving the yard, he went straight to the North Ghost Lord planet with instant transmission. How did you show up? What are you doing here? Lin Yan, who had instant transmission to King Kai's planet, suddenly appeared in front of King Kai, which really shocked him. Especially the guy Lin Yan, also a Saiyan, doesn't seem to be as good as Goku, nor as evil as Vegeta. With that feeling of being both good and evil, King Kai couldn't see what kind of person Lin Yan was at all. So for Lin Yan, it is natural to be wary. Master Realm King, please help me find an asteroid called Wampa. Lin Yan didn't make any twists and turns, and spoke directly to King Kai. In fact, he is not sure now, whether a mere King Kai has such a strong ability to find the Wampa planet. After all, planet Wampa is just a barren asteroid. Not as easy to find as Namek. Ahem, it's okay to help you, but... King Kai covered his mouth with one hand and coughed dryly twice, obviously ready to raise conditions. Tell you two funny jokes. Lin Yan said it directly for King Kai. He knows this guy, and he doesn't have any other hobbies, but now, he doesn't have time to tell him any stories. Whoa, you're really smarter than Goku. King Kai looked at Lin Yan with a look of relief, and said excitedly. I didn't expect Lin Yan to know her hobbies so well. It seems that she has put in a lot of effort to find her help. Looking at the excited King Kai, Lin Yan squeezed an energy ball out of his palm, and said lightly, do you think it would be funny if this energy ball landed on your King Kai planet? Ah, King Kai looked dazed, isn't this guy trying to tell himself a joke? Why did the atmosphere suddenly become a little awkward? Ha ha, it's so funny. After King Kai laughed awkwardly, seeing Lin Yan's indifferent face, he quickly stopped his laughter. Wampa planet, right, where is it? Almost instantly, it turned into a very serious look. It is simply the originator of the funny world. After 10 minutes, King Kai was already sweating profusely. Looking at this work is also quite exhausting. I found it, in that direction. Suddenly, King Kai spoke a little weakly. Lin Yan quickly closed his eyes, and began to perceive the direction King Kai pointed. Sure enough, after half a minute, Lin Yan felt that faint familiar breath. That's right, it's Broly's breath. Broly's breath is strong enough, so he can feel it. As for Paragus, his breath is too weak, so it's hard to feel it. Then Lin Yan opened his eyes, pointed at the center of his eyebrows with both fingers, looked at King Kai, and said, thank you, Lord Kai. Then the body faltered for a while, and disappeared on the planet King Kai. That guy is finally gone. After watching Lin Yan leave, King Kai breathed a sigh of relief. Although this guy is smarter than Goku, he is much more dangerous than Goku. Hope he never comes to his own planet again. And on the other side, the planet Wampa. Broly raised his head slightly, looking at the sky, which was the direction where Lin Yan disappeared 3 years ago. In the past 3 years, he looked forward to that direction almost every day. Broly, don't be in a daze, it's been 3 years, that guy won't come back, maybe he died in the universe. Paragus said to Broly with some resentment. That guy, they waited so long with hope, until now, his expectations and patience have been completely worn out. No, I believe in Master, he promised me that he will definitely come back to pick me up. Hearing Paragus' voice, Broly replied calmly. In the past 2 years, these 2 sentences have been spoken almost every day. But he absolutely believed that Master would definitely pick him up and leave here. And at the same time that Broly's firm voice fell, a crisp sound of breaking through the air rang out. Almost at the moment when Broly's firm voice fell, suddenly an exceptionally clear piercing sound rang out. In this quiet space, it is particularly eye-catching. A figure appeared behind Broly. Quote. A familiar voice sounded from behind. Broly's body was suddenly startled, and then he turned around excitedly, and saw that familiar figure. Familiar silhouette, familiar smiling face. And this figure is Lin Yan, who just traveled from King Kai planet instant transmission to Wampa planet. Master! Broly cried out excitedly, his eyes shone with excitement, and he could clearly feel that his voice trembled a little. 3 years, a full 3 years. Although he has always been convinced that Master will definitely come back to pick him up and leave this planet, but at this moment, he is really looking forward to it every day. Although he has always believed in it, but after a long time, that firm belief is also a little bit loose. Fortunately, the Master really came to pick him up and left. Keeping you waiting, Broly. Lin Yan patted Broly on the shoulder, and could clearly see the excitement in Brawly's eyes, not just because he knew he was going to pick him up and leave. But the excitement of seeing myself is beyond words. Master, I have always believed that you will definitely come back to pick us up. Brawly was still full of excitement. In this world, besides his father, Paragus, the only thing he loves is his master, Lin Yan. See you again in 3 years, how can you not be excited? Well, thank you for trusting me, Brawly. Lin Yan held Brawly's shoulder tightly. This guy is really pure like a child. After all, the environment in which he grew up was different, so his temperament was naturally affected a lot. Lin Yan, it's really you, I thought. Not to mention Brawly, even Paragus was excited. However, his excitement was fundamentally different from Brawly's. It wasn't that he was excited when he saw Lin Yan, but that he knew that Lin Yan's arrival meant that they could finally leave this shitty place. What, do you think I lied to Brawly, or that I'm dead in the universe? Lin Yan turned his head, the smile on his face suddenly changed. Although Paragus is Brawly's father, he doesn't have much affection for this guy. Where are you talking? Paragus blushed, and quickly defended himself. In fact, this sentence was basically what he said to Brawly before. But you didn't bring the universe spaceship, how are you going to take us away? Paragus glanced around, but saw no trace of the universe spaceship. He knows that Lin Yan can survive in the universe, but he and Brawly don't have that ability. If he hadn't brought the universe ship over, they still couldn't get out of here. That's right, Master, can we get out of here without the universe spaceship? Hearing what Paragus said, Brawly also asked in doubt. That thing is too troublesome. I recently learned an ability of instant transmission, which can take you to other planets in an instant. For Brawly, Lin Yan has nothing to hide. In fact, after coming to this world, although he also knew Son Goku, Vegeta and other Z warriors, his relationship with them was not as good as that of Brawly. The first is because I have lived with Brawly on this Wampa planet for a year, and the second is because in comparison, I prefer the simple-minded Brawly in front of me. Nani, instant transmission. Can instant transmission go to other planets? With a shocked expression on his face, Paragus tried his best to find a sense of existence between Brawly and Lin Yan. Brawly wasn't too surprised, and didn't ask what kind of ability instant transmission is. Instead, he said directly, Then can we leave here? Of course, grab my shoulder. Lin Yan spoke directly to Brawly. Paragus had a look of embarrassment, feeling that Lin Yan was deliberately indifferent to him. However, his feeling was quite accurate, because Lin Yan didn't want to talk to him in the first place. I don't even want to take him away from here, because although this guy has only 4,000 fighting power, he is evil, scheming, and has always harbored hatred for King Vegeta in his heart. I am afraid it will be easy to cause trouble when he arrives on Earth. It's just that Brawly is simple-minded and filial. If he doesn't take Paragus away, he probably won't leave here alone. Paragus walked behind Lin Yan with an embarrassed expression on his face, and then put his hand on Lin Yan's shoulder. Okay, here we go. Because I came directly from the King Kai planet by instant transmission before, so I remembered the general direction, and this time I was familiar with the road. Pointing directly between the eyebrows, the bodies of the three of them swayed for a while, and then completely disappeared on the planet Wampa. When it appeared again, it had already arrived at the planet King Kai. Nani, why are you here again? The two of them are also Saiyan. King Kai was taken aback by Lin Yan's sudden appearance again. This guy, why is he always elusive? And this time, I brought 2 more people. And one of them gave him a very dangerous feeling. Excuse me, Lord Kai. After Lin Yan nodded to King Kai, he made an instant transmission again, directly to the Earth. And at this time, people like Vegeta and Son Gohan Piccolo on Earth suddenly felt a very powerful breath, and it was a strange breath. At the moment when the breath appeared, he rushed in that direction directly. The bodies of Lin Yan, Brawly, and Paragus appeared directly in the courtyard of Bulma's house. Just a minute or two later, Vegeta and others also appeared in midair. That guy, Saiyan 2. The moment Vegeta saw Brawly, he recognized him and frowned tightly. Because he felt that breath emanating from Saiyan's body next to Lin Yan. Very powerful. As for Paragus, he was directly ignored by Vegeta. Then, King Vegeta. No, it's King Vegeta's son. How could he be on this planet? The moment Paragus saw Vegeta, his face was full of shock, his pupils constricted, and endless hatred poured out instantly. Who are you? Vegeta looked at Paragus when he heard someone call out his name. It stands to reason that planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza more than 20 years ago, and almost all Saiyan were recalled by Frieza to planet Vegeta and killed. In addition to themselves, Nappa and Raditz performed the mission and did not listen to Frieza's dispatch and escaped unharmed. After that, I met that guy Kakarot on Earth, and then I realized that there are other Saiyans, and then I met Lin Yan in Namek. Unexpectedly, 2 purebred Saiyans appeared now. It was really a bit beyond his expectation. And looking at that guy's eyes, it seems that he has endless resentment towards himself. But think about it, I have never seen such a guy. Broly, he is the son Vegeta of King Vegeta who put our father Sunstream kill him now. Seeing the same appearance, Paragus was instantly furious, pouring out endless resentment in an instant, and roared hysterically at Broly. Dad, Dad. Broly obviously didn't want to fight, he looked at Paragus hesitantly, and then at Lin Yan. But before Lin Yan could speak, Vegeta said provocatively, "Cut, what kind of rubbish, an exiled low-level Saiyan is worthy of yelling in front of my King Vegeta." Vegeta spoke disdainfully, and skimmed Paragus. He could feel that Paragus only had a few thousand points of combat power, killing him by himself, killing an ant would be as easy as killing him. How dare you threaten to kill yourself, it's really shameless. Lin Yan originally wanted to do ideological work for Paragus, instilling some positive energy that Saiyan wants to love each other, but when he heard Vegeta's arrogant words, his eyes narrowed slightly, and the cold light flickered. Actually speaking, I am just an inferior Saiyan warrior who was exiled. Vegeta's words naturally made him a little uncomfortable. Up to now, the planet Vegeta has been destroyed for many years, and it is really uncomfortable that Vegeta is still wearing his King Vegeta bag all day long. Master. Broly turned her questioning gaze to Lin Yan, apparently asking for Lin Yan's opinion. Seeing Broly's soliciting gaze, Lin Yan nodded. Vegeta should be cleared up, and let him know that the Earth is not Vegeta's planet, and he is no longer a proud son of King Vegeta. If you want to fight, come with me, Lin Yan said to Vegeta and Broly, then his body flashed out and disappeared in front of everyone. Fighting here, I'm afraid my nest will be destroyed. Then, Broly and Paragus followed suit. Oh, I always feel that something bad will happen. Keelan drooped his face, sighed, and said weakly. Unexpectedly, just after the cyborg issue has been quelled, this group of Saiyans are starting to make trouble again. It's a bunch of troublemakers. Piccolo also frowned and said in a low voice. What's worse is that they have no way to stop. Lin Yan uncle should be fine here, let's go and have a look. Son Gohan looked a little ahead of Piccolo and Kling, and then followed with a flash of his body. In just 2 minutes, Lin Yan appeared in a valley, a barren valley surrounded by mountains, perfect for fighting. Then, Broly, Vegeta, Piccolo, Paragus and others also appeared one after another. Broly, don't kill me, let me see how your cultivation is going. Lin Yan said directly to Broly. He really wanted to see if Broly had learned to control his violent state during these 3 years. Well, I know master. Broly nodded and answered seriously. Lin Yan's voice was not deliberately lowered, so it was enough for Vegeta, Piccolo and others to hear clearly. Cheech, a nasty fool, an inferior Saiyan, how could he be my Super Vegeta's opponent? After hearing Lin Yan's words, Vegeta clenched his fist tightly and gritted his teeth. Lin Yan and Kakarot, 2 inferior Saiyans surpassed him already made him feel a great humiliation, the stupid guy in front of him. How could it be my opponent? Be sure to let him feel the power of Super Vegeta. Immediately, he folded his hands proudly in front of his chest, looked at Broly with contempt, his indifferent eyes were full of provocation. Oh, seeing Vegeta's haughty look, Broly also gritted his teeth, and his eyes revealed a beast-like coldness. Being with beasts all these years has also made Broly's aura even more violent. That Saiyan seems to be terrifyingly strong. Keelan swallowed hard, and said in a daze. Well, from him, I can feel a very dangerous feeling. Even Lin Yan doesn't have this feeling. Piccolo nodded and said, but Vegeta uncle is also very strong after becoming Super Saiyan. Looking at the two with serious expressions, Son Gohan spoke. And at this moment, Broly stepped forward without any fanfare, and punched Vegeta directly. A bad Saiyan is a bad Saiyan, too slow. Seeing Broly's sluggish movements, Vegeta raised the corners of his mouth, and spoke dismissively. Foul. Broly's terrifying fist slammed into Vegeta with a clear cracking sound. Vegeta's toes touched the ground, and his body rose into the air, easily dodging Broly's attack. This kind of attack also wants to hit himself, it makes people laugh out loud. Then, looking down, Nani, where is it? When he looked at the ground, he couldn't see Broly anymore. Okay, so fast, I didn't see how he moved at all. Piccolo panicked instantly, because he didn't see any movement of Saiyan at all just now, and just appeared behind Vegeta out of thin air. Too strong. Klin's eyeballs are about to fall to the ground. That guy's speed, he can definitely surpass Vegeta. Even Super Saiyan Vegeta. Go down. Broly roared, and directly hit Vegeta's back heavily with his fist. Boom. At the same time as the deep voice fell, Vegeta's body smashed into the ground like a shell. Chapter 91. Boom. Vegeta's body hit the ground heavily, and the hard ground instantly spread like a spider's web. Vegeta stuck his hands and feet on the ground, his complexion became very ugly, he clenched his fists tightly, and felt a burning pain in his back. He didn't even realize how that idiot appeared behind him just now. It's really disgusting. Lao Su, Vegeta will never forgive you. Vegeta stood up slowly, with a look of resentment in his mouth. To be treated like this by an inferior Saiyan, it made him feel more humiliated than losing to a cyborg. Ha ha ha, ha ha. A series of low-pitched roars came out from Vegeta's throat, and the next moment, Gold's arrogance burst out instantly, and his golden hair stood up high. Impressively, it directly became Super Saiyan. Looking at Vegeta, Lin Yan and Palace, who turned into Super Saiyan, there was no change on their faces. Because Broly, can become Super Saiyan, and as long as Broly becomes Super Saiyan, his fighting power will surpass Vegeta by more than 1,000 times. In this battle, Vegeta has no chance of winning. Go to hell. Vegeta roared again, his body shot out like an arrow from the string, and a crater appeared on the ground instantly. Compared with just now, the speed is simply incomparable. He appeared in front of Broly almost instantly, and punched Broly on the forehead. Broly didn't dodge, let Vegeta's fist hit him. Vegeta's fist was tightly stuck between Broly's eyebrows, but his complexion changed drastically in an instant, because he hit Broly's eyebrows with such terrifying power, and that guy seemed completely fine. He took 2 perfunctory steps back without retreating, just like a standing stone pillar, motionless. Didn't pay attention to Vegeta's attack at all. Immediately afterwards, Broly frowned, grabbed Vegeta's wrist with his right hand, and threw Vegeta out forcefully. Vegeta's body shot into the ground again like a cannonball. With a flash, Broly appeared in front of Vegeta, and his fist directly plunged into Vegeta's abdomen. The next moment, a mouthful of acidic water spit out from Vegeta's mouth, his pupils constricted, and he masked pain. The gold arrogance around her disappeared in an instant, and her hair returned to normal, directly returning to normal. This is too scary. Son Gohan and Kei Lin Yi had dull faces. They knew from the beginning that Vegeta might not be the Saiyan opponent. But instant kill, this is too much. Moreover, Vegeta's real punch hit him between the eyebrows, and nothing happened. Saiyan, or a bunch of monsters. Piccolo was a little jealous, and said a little apprehensively. Vegeta, Son Goku, Lin Yan, and now another one has come out, and his strength seems to be even stronger. This makes people like them, their sense of existence plummets. Okay, so powerful, his strength should be almost the same as Lin Yan uncle's. Son Gohan looked at Broly excitedly, and said, the speed and strength just now felt no weaker than Lin Yan at all. Of course, this is because they have never seen Lin Yan's true strength. TCH, who knows? Piccolo pouted, he had never seen Lin Yan fight with all his strength. Broly, kill him for me. Just after Broly defeated Vegeta, Paragus ordered to Broly in a vicious tone. A hesitant look flashed across Broly's face. He didn't like fighting, and he didn't like killing people. But he had to listen to his father's words. I told you to kill him, hear no Broly. Paragus roared out again. Then he took out a remote control directly from a pocket on his waist. Looking at the remote control in Paragus' hand, Lin Yan's expression turned cold instantly, and then his body flashed, and he took the remote control directly. Then squeeze and explode. Lin Yan, what are you doing? Paragus looked at Lin Yan's actions, and looked at Lin Yan with angry eyes, like a wild beast that went crazy. Paragus, pay attention to your attitude. If you want to live a good life on Earth, be honest with me. I can bring you back from the planet Wampa, and I have the ability to send you back, even, kill about you. Lin Yan didn't give Paragus any face at all. If he dares to make trouble like this again, I will definitely not spare him. Come back, Brawly. Then, he said to Brawly coldly. There is no way to subdue the two of them, and I will not bring them back all the way. If you want to kill a Paragus, you have 10,000 ways. Hearing that cold voice, Brawly's body trembled slightly, and he quickly appeared beside Lin Yan. Master, please don't blame Dad. Seeing Lin Yan's angry expression, Brawly asked quickly. This is the first Paragus, don't challenge my tolerance. Lin Yan glanced at Paragus coldly, his tone was as cold as ice for 10,000 years. Paragus couldn't help shivering. He fully believed that Lin Yan would kill him in an instant, and that even Brawly couldn't stop it. Then, Lin Yan pinched the collar around Brawly's neck, pulled it hard, and pulled the collar off. There is no need to bring this kind of thing with you. Learn to control your own power in the future. After pulling off the collar, Lin Yan spoke. It's Master. Brawly nodded obediently. Okay, let's go back. Bulma has prepared a lot of delicious food for you. Lin Yan's complexion gradually returned to normal. Before leaving, he told Bulma to prepare more food. Presumably in the past 3 years, Brawly has been eating beasts again. Then, Lin Yan, Brawly and Paragus left. But, I'm a dignified Vegeta. Vegeta slammed his fists into the ground heavily. He never thought that Vegeta would be defeated by this inferior Saiyan. And again, it seems that there is another unstable factor on the Earth. Klin sighed helplessly. Brawly's strength also made them feel intimidated. A double-edged sword, it depends on how Lin Yan controls it. Piccolo said thoughtfully. If it is controlled properly, it will be a very powerful force. If it is not controlled properly, it will be a time bomb. Lin Yan, are you sure these two guys are not refugees from famine? Looking at Brawly and Paragus, who were devouring the food for dozens of people they had prepared in almost a minute, Bulma asked Lin Yan with a look of hell on his face. Yes. Yes. Didn't tell you. Seeing the two gobbled it up, a black line flashed across Lin Yan's brows. Eating like this, even the Bulma family's wealth can't afford to eat it. But after all, these two people haven't eaten such a rich food in 3 years, so this kind of scene is also expected. And at this moment, the picture being played on the TV suddenly changed. Now I'd like to break in a shocking news for everyone. In the city of Binga, south of the western capital, tens of thousands of people disappeared inexplicably overnight last night, and strange scenes appeared on the streets. Accompanied by the sound of a slow broadcast, the TV screen appeared on the reported street. I saw clothes and shoes strewn all over the street, as if the whole body was completely absorbed by some monster. Only the clothes are left. What's going on? How could such a thing happen? Bulma looked at the horrible picture on TV in shock, and said with a trembling tone. She could also see that those clothes were obviously worn by someone before, but the bodies of those people seemed to be absorbed, so the clothes became like that. Cell appears, Lin Yan said in a calm tone. At this time, the only ones who can do this kind of thing are the cells that are still in the growth stage. Sand. Cell, what is that? Hearing Lin Yan's voice, Bulma asked in puzzlement. She didn't know, nor had she heard the name. A biochemical monster made by Dr. Zhe Luo. Lin Yan looked at Bulma and explained. It's Dr. Zhe Luo again. Bulma gritted his teeth. This guy is also a genius scientist, but his mind is all spent on this crooked way. Okay, wait for me at home, I'll be back soon. Lin Yan said to Bulma. Aha. Bulma nodded obediently. He knew that Lin Yan must be going to deal with that monster. Master, do you need my help? At this time Brawly looked at Lin Yan and asked with a serious face. Judging by Lin Yan's expression, he knew something was wrong. It's okay, I can handle it, you just need to protect Bulma and them at home. The current cell, at most, is still in the first transformation. Even if he becomes a perfect body, I don't take him seriously at all. And if Brawley protects Bulma and Dr. Breves, they will be very safe. Yes, Brawley nodded heavily, very obedient. Where is it? Lin Yan closed his eyes and began to perceive Cell's breath. That guy Cell has Piccolo's cells and also got Piccolo's smart brain at the same time. If he doesn't get enough power, he must be very obscene and won't expose his aura. So even if he is himself, it is not easy to find his whereabouts. Yes, after a full minute, Lin Yan suddenly felt faint auras disappearing continuously. It must be the breath of the common people on the earth, and it is not very far from here. After feeling the disappearing breaths, Lin Yan pointed his fingers between his eyebrows, and after shaking his body, he disappeared in front of Bulma and Brawley. At this time, in a small village on the edge of Binga City, one could see sets of empty clothes lying quietly on the street. In front of a residential house, dozens of figures almost curled up into a ball because of extreme fear. Shaking non-stop, some people couldn't stand the fear directly, and started crying. On the opposite side of the crowd, there was also a green monster, 7 feet tall, with a green and orange body covered with black spots. With a long tail trailing behind him, he walked towards the dozen or so people step by step. It looks ugly, every time you take a step forward, there will be sound like footsteps. A weird sound came out from the monster's throat, and one could hear the taste of cruelty and bloodlust. And every time the monster took a step forward, everyone's hearts trembled, and finally it went straight to the throat. Ugly monster, stop quickly, I won't let you hurt everyone again. And just when everyone was panicking, a weak figure suddenly stood up. That figure is about 10 years old, a little lowly, wearing a white sportswear, with a playful ponytail, looks very pure and cute. Appeared directly in front of Cell, although it is not difficult to see the fear on the face, but the voice is extremely firm. Then, who is that child? Do you want to die? Come here quickly. At this time, everyone was shocked by what that little loli did. Doesn't she know the horror of this monster? That's an adult who can be eaten by him in a few seconds. She knows that a child is brave, isn't this courting death? Oh, it's quite courageous. When the monster saw little Lolita, it was startled for a moment, and then its expression became cruel. In order to quickly become a perfect body, he doesn't care whether the one absorbed by him is an adult or a child. You brat who is not afraid of death, let's start with you. The monster smiled evilly, then the tail behind it slapped heavily on the ground, and then appeared directly above its head. The sharp unpunctured pokes directly at the little Lolita. He didn't hold back at all just because the other party was a child. Ah! Looking at the sharp tail thorn, the little loli screamed in fright, Jiao Nu Jiao. Although she acted very strong just now, but she is a child after all, when faced with such a moment of life and death, she naturally cannot calm down. And almost when the monster's tail stab was about to hit little Loli, a figure suddenly appeared in front of little Loli. Grabbed the monster's tail thorn. It really is you, Cell. This figure is exactly Lin Yan who came over from instant transmission after feeling those faint auras. Nani, who are you and how do you know me? Cell was shocked when he heard Lin Yan call out his name. How is it possible? How does this guy know his name? You must know that I have been hiding in this time and space for 4 years, but I have not found myself at all, and in the future, there will be no such guy at all. I, the one who killed you. When Lin Yan's cold voice fell, the hand holding Cell's tail suddenly pulled hard, and Cell's body rushed towards Lin Yan uncontrollably. Then, Lin Yan's fist hit Cell's mouth heavily, and the moment a dull sound sounded, Cell's mouth collapsed instantly. The body fell to the ground limply, and a painful wail came out of his throat. Hugged tightly with both hands in the chest. Purple's blood keeps flowing from the corner of his mouth. How is it possible? Although I have not become a perfect body, but with my current strength, it is impossible to be injured like this by a human punch. Who is that guy in front of him? How could there be such a terrifying power? Cell couldn't figure it out, but the severe pain kept eroding his nerves. He knew that he had suffered a huge injury from just that punch, and even if he escaped now, it would be difficult to fully recover in a short time. Okay, so powerful, is that person so powerful? Yeah, I hit that monster with one punch. Are we saved? The moment Cell fell to the ground, the faces of the people who were still terrified just now were replaced by horrified expressions. Then there is the color of ecstasy. That monster, who ate so many villagers and made them completely irresistible, was defeated by the human in front of him with a punch. No, it seems. Not human, because the flexible tail behind him is not what humans have. Big. Big brother, you are so amazing. Maybe you are even better than Dad. The little loli behind Lin Yan looked at Lin Yan's back with an expression of admiration after being shocked. If it wasn't for the sudden appearance of the big brother in front of them, they would all have been eaten by that monster. Oh, listening to your tone, your father is also a very powerful character. Lin Yan suddenly turned around, looked at the delicate-looking little loli behind her, and asked with great interest. The little loli in front of me has a pair of jewel-like shallow blue pupils, and big watery eyes that blink and blink. When she grows up, she will definitely be a great beauty who will bring disaster to the country and the people. HMPH, don't scare you when you say it, my father is the most powerful man in the world. Little loli pouted and said very proudly. It seems that she completely forgot the fear that monster brought her just now. It can be seen that she adores her father very much. Scared me. So, your father is really powerful, let's hear it. For some reason, Lin Yan seems to be particularly interested in this little Lolita. He smiled lightly and asked. Listen well, my father is the strongest man in the world, the #1 fighting champion in the world, Satan. After the little Lolita finished speaking in one breath, she looked proud and raised her head high. Nah, nonani, Mr. Stupid. Lin Yan felt that this was the first time he was so surprised, and almost choked on his own saliva. Immediately afterwards, a wretched, obscene figure appeared in Lin Yan's mind, with wavy curly hair, a full face, a big beard, and a face as thick as a city wall. Satan, isn't that guy the strongest leak picker in the Dragon Ball? When did this guy become the strongest man in the world? Lin Yan couldn't help but look more at the delicate-looking, exquisitely carved little loli in front of him, and asked secretly in his heart, is this really his own? It seems that the little loli in front of me is Satan's only daughter, Vital, that's right. Vital, that is the out-and-out beauty in Dragon Ball. Compared with Bulma and number 18, their appearance is not much better. Especially when he first appeared on the stage, Lin Yan's pure appearance, his upright and straightforward character of punishing evil and promoting good also made Lin Yan very memorable. Unexpectedly, Vital has been a beauty since he was a child, so now, Vital is only 9 years old. So small, so small. Lin Yan shook his head, thinking. HMPH, how's it going? Are you scared? Seeing Lin Yan's shocked expression, the little loli Vital said in a shy voice. She knew that as long as she said her father's name, she would definitely scare this guy. Well, it's a bit surprising. Lin Yan nodded, still looking at Vital with a smile on his face. It is indeed very surprising that that ugly guy, Satan, has such a beautiful daughter. Since your father is so powerful, why didn't he come and just you? Lin Yan asked suddenly. Satan, that coward who only fools the audience, is probably lucky not to be scared to pee his pants when he hears about the Cell incident. Although he did save the Earth, indirectly, a few times. My father, I have notified him, he will be here soon. Asked by Lin Yan, Vital suddenly remembered that he had informed her father that he was here 10 minutes ago. But why hasn't he come yet? Logically speaking, such a short distance would take less than 10 minutes at all. And when Lin Yan and little loli Vital were talking, Cell looked at Lin Yan's relaxed look with his back turned to him. A sinister look flashed in his eyes, then he gritted his teeth, fled away with a flash of his body. As long as the green hills are still there, I am not afraid of running out of firewood. As long as I escape this calamity today and become a perfect body, I will definitely kill this guy with my own hands. Then, the monster escaped. Vital and Lin Yan were face to face, so the moment Cell escaped, Vital yelled out in horror. If that monster ran away, it must have gone to another place to hurt others. Escape, how is it possible? At the same time Lin Yan's cold voice fell, his body flashed and appeared in midair. Nani, why is he flying in midair? The little loli Vital was shocked, and all the survivors on the side also looked terrified. That human, he can fly. It is not surprising that a human being can jump more than 1 foot. But floating in midair, this is impossible. It is completely beyond their understanding of human beings. He can't be stronger than Dad, right? Vital thought in a daze, but quickly rejected this idea. How could there be a man stronger than his father in this world? Absolutely impossible. Maybe Dad can fly too, but she doesn't know it. Big brother, what's your name? Suddenly, Vital looked at Lin Yan in midair, and asked excitedly. My name is Lin Yan. A period later. Lin Yan waved at Xiao Luo Li Vital, and then his body flashed again, and he disappeared directly from everyone's sight. Is it a blindfold? Vital pouted and murmured. After all, a person can fly in the air at such a fast speed, which has completely exceeded her expectations. After Cell escaped Lin Yan's sight, he ran all the way, but he didn't dare to fly in the air, and could only sneak on the ground at the fastest speed. Because of this, he was able to reduce the air pressure to the lowest state, without being discovered by that hateful human. You actually caused me such a serious injury. After I absorb number 17 and number 18 to become a complete body, I must take good care of you. While running wildly, Cell let out a voice of resentment. As long as he absorbs number 17 and number 18 and becomes perfect, there will be no one in this 790 world who will be his opponent. You're afraid it's your chance, Cell. Almost at the same time as Cell's bitter voice fell, a cold voice came from above his head. Nani. Hearing that familiar voice, Cell's body trembled violently, stopped in his tracks, and then looked up into the air with a look of horror. Just saw that familiar figure. The look of fear in the eyes is even worse. How could that guy catch up with me? I have already suppressed my aura very low. It's almost like a normal human being. It's hard to perceive it at all. Sharu was shocked and thought, is this guy really that perverted? You, who the hell are you? Cell is still a bit ignorant until now. Such a powerful guy should not disappear in the future. But the time and space that has come back, there is no him at all. What is going on? Didn't I tell you? I'm the one who's going to kill you. While Lin Yan's cold voice fell, his body slowly landed beside Cell. In fact, when I first learned about Cell's appearance, for a moment, Lin Yan actually didn't want to kill Cell. He wants to turn him into a perfect Cell, and then use the power of the perfect Cell to let Son Goku, Vegeta and others break through their limits again. He even became Super Saiyan 2, but after thinking about it again and again, now on the Earth, I and Broly can choose more than Vegeta and Son Goku. With their belligerent and arrogant personalities, they will definitely try to surpass themselves and Broly, and it is absolutely impossible for them to slack off in their cultivation. Therefore, whether the full body Cell will appear or not is actually not of great significance. Of course, this is only one of the reasons. And the most important reason is that if Cell wants to become a complete body, he must absorb number 17 and no 18. This is something I will never allow. The brother-in-law on the 17th is fine, it doesn't matter if he absorbs it or not, but on the 18th, he will be his own woman from now on. How can he tolerate being absorbed into his body by such an ugly thing as Cell? Just for this, Cell is no longer necessary. As soon as he thought of this, Lin Yan's cold gaze flashed murderous intent, and he stared at Cell. Seeing Lin Yan's murderous gaze, Cell's heart suddenly turned cold, and his whole body was instantly enveloped by a breath of death. What do you want to do? No. Don't kill me. At this moment, Cell was really scared. He finally took the time machine of the future and came here. He has been lurking for 4 years, just to wait for the appearance of artificial people number 18 and no 17. After absorbing them and becoming a perfect body, I didn't expect that my wish was about to be cast, and I would meet such a powerful character. He knew very well that the current self was seriously injured because of Lin Yan's attack just now. If he wanted to kill himself, it would be a very easy thing. Your value is gone, there is no need to exist anymore. With a cold voice, Lin Yan raised his right hand high, and a blue energy ball condensed out of his palm. Without any hesitation at all, it shot directly at Cell, so fast that it didn't give Cell any chance. It just penetrated directly into Cell's chest. The severe pain kept pulling his consciousness away from his brain. Cell looked at Lin Yan unwillingly, but he couldn't say a complete sentence anymore. 3 seconds later, his body collapsed limply on the ground, his eyes were still wide open, and his expression was unwilling. Seeing that Cell was almost out of breath, Lin Yan appeared in midair with a flash of his body. Then he threw an energy ball casually, he knew that Cell has Piccolo's cells, so he has the ability to regenerate. Since you have decided to kill him, you won't give him any chance. Rumbling. After a terrifying explosion sounded, Lin Yan's body disappeared in midair. When it appeared again, it was already at home. How's the matter? Has it been resolved? Looking at Lin Yan who suddenly appeared, Bulma was not surprised. After all, he was almost used to it. Well, I'm going out, and there are still things that can't be settled. Lin Yan touched Bulma's tender face, and then said, although Cell is dead, he also killed a lot of innocent humans. In a few days, ask Son Gohan and Keelan to gather the Dragon Balls and let them Shenron revive them. 3 months later, Cell was solved, and those humans killed by Cell were resurrected with the help of Son Gohan Kling. Earth seems to be at peace again. At this time, on the top of a mountain, 3 people, number 16, number 17 and number 18, stood there. Except that number 16 is still calm, and number 17 and number 18 seem to be unhappy. It's really boring. Number 17 pouted, with a lazy expression on his face. In the past 3 months, they have already played what they should have played, and visited the places they wanted to go. Now I feel like I have nothing to do. TCH, it's been 3 months, and the idiot has no news at all. On the 18th, Lu Mei frowned slightly, and murmured in a low voice. That figure suddenly appeared in my mind. In fact, in the past 3 months, that figure has appeared in my mind countless times. I can't help getting angry when I think of that fool. He also said that he likes himself and makes himself his girlfriend, which is simply a lie. Number 17 seemed to have heard No 18's thoughts, and then a sly smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Then an energy ball condensed from the palm of his hand, and directly blasted on a high mountain opposite. The 100-foot-high mountain exploded in an instant and was razed to the ground. Number 17, what are you doing? Seeing what number 17 did, Tien Bahao asked in a cold voice, puzzled. Call that idiot here for you. Number 17 looked sideways at number 18, twitched the corner of his mouth, and said, TCH, who told you to be troublesome? Number 18 frowned again, and blamed number 17, but obviously he wasn't really angry. That fool, will he come? At this time, Lin Yan had just finished breakfast at home when he felt that terrifying energy fluctuation. Is it number 18? Lin Yan spoke suddenly, talking to himself. Just now I clearly felt very powerful energy fluctuations, but I didn't feel any breath fluctuations. If it was someone else who made such a big movement, then there would definitely be fluctuations in breath. The only possibility is that they started to sabotage on the 18th. Thinking about these 3 months, I really didn't seem to go to number 18 again, but I feel a little guilty. After all, after molesting someone, I just put it aside and ignored it, which is a bit unreasonable. After thinking about it, after Lin Yan talked to Bulma, he rushed towards the place where the energy fluctuated just now. 3 minutes later, a super strong energy is moving towards us. Number 16, who had been teasing the bird, suddenly turned serious, looked to the southwest, and said calmly. Super energy. It seems that my method has worked. Hey. After hearing No 16's words, number 17 suddenly smiled triumphantly and said. To make number 16 say that it is super powerful, Vegeta and Son Goku definitely do not have that strength, and other Piccolo and others are even more impossible. Obviously, only Lin Yan is the only one. At the same time as No 17's voice fell, there was a sudden sound of piercing through the air, and Lin Yan's figure instantly appeared in front of the 3 of them. It really is you. Lin Yan glanced at the high mountain that had been blasted to the ground, and then turned his gaze to number 17 and No. 18. At this time, number 16 also stood up, although he knew that he was not Lin Yan's opponent, but after these 3 months of contact, he also knew that number 17 and number 18 were not bad in nature. And just like myself, I love nature very much, so Lin Yan must not let Lin Yan hurt them. If you don't make a big noise, you seem to be about to forget us. No 17's complexion remained unchanged, with a smile still on his face, and he said lightly to Lin Yan. Then he turned his attention to number 18, as if he wanted to tell Lin Yan. On the other hand, number 18 looked at Lin Yan indifferently, but didn't speak. However, Lin Yan also saw some duanxi from the faces of number 18 and No. 17. How could it be? Even if I forget you, brother-in-law, I can't forget the number 18. Lin Yan spoke shamelessly. Cut. Number 18 looked at Lin Yan and snorted coldly. This guy, his answer was too perfunctory. When she hadn't met Lin Yan, she always wanted to clean up this fool after seeing him. But for some reason, after seeing him, I suddenly became a little shy again, and I didn't even know how to blame him, and in what capacity to blame him for ignoring me. It's not her character at all. I'm sorry on the 18th, it's my fault for ignoring you for the past 3 months. I ignored your feelings. I will definitely make it up to you in the future. Lin Yan walked up to number 18 slowly, grabbed No 18's slender hands shamelessly, and said cheekily. But the tone is very sincere. Lin Yan feels nothing to be ashamed of. After all, if you want to be a high cold goddess like number 18, you not only need to have strong strength and a handsome appearance. Sometimes shameless stalking is also a good strategy. Lin Yan grabbed his hand suddenly. Number 18 was taken aback for a moment, and then, like a frightened deer, he pushed Lin Yan's hand away. Yu's face flushed. She was a little angry, and said a little shyly, whoever wants you to make up for it. Immediately, he quickly looked elsewhere, a little afraid to look directly at Lin Yu. Looking at No 18's coquettish and cute appearance, Lin Yan knew in her heart that number 18 must have feelings for her, otherwise with her cold personality, she would never show such shyness appearance. And just when Lin Yan was about to continue to launch a more violent offensive against number 18, 2 breaths suddenly flew out in this direction. These 2 breaths belonged to Son Goku and Vegeta. The speed was very fast. In just a few seconds, it appeared in front of Lin Yan. Yo, you are here. Son Goku saw Lin Yan first, and after greeting Lin Yan, he looked at number 17. Wow, Kaka, you are the android 17 who defeated Vegeta in one fell swoop, right? It looks really strong. After touching the tip of his nose, he said to number 17 with a smile on his face. Because of a heart attack in the past 2 months, I didn't fight against the 17th, 18th and 16th robots. In fact, I feel very regretful in my heart. Especially when I heard Gohan say that the android can defeat Vegeta with 2 moves, the desire to fight in the body is instantly awakened. You are Son Goku. Don't you know that we were created by Dr. Jay Luobo to kill you? Number 17 narrowed his eyes slightly, and said in a cold tone. And even number 16, who had been very calm behind number 17, became irritable after seeing Son Goku, and looked at Son Goku with gritted teeth. He was created for the sole purpose of killing Son Goku. Hey, it's not that easy to kill me. Son Goku chuckled, although he had been in a coma for the past 2 months. But after crawling back from the brink of death, his strength seems to have improved a lot. Hey Kakarot, don't forget what you're here for. Seeing the 3 people who were tense in an instant, Vegeta suddenly reminded Son Goku coldly. Vegeta's face is quite ugly. After all, everyone here seems to have stronger strength than him. This hit his self-esteem that he cared about the most. Ah, I almost forgot, thank you Vegeta. After being reminded by Vegeta, he thought of his purpose of coming here. Just looking at Lin Yan and the 3 of the artificial man number 18, he smiled and said. Half a month later, Earth will hold the number 1 martial arts competition in the world. At that time, all powerful opponents will participate. Hee, you all should participate too. Thinking about being able to fight with you, it is really exciting, trembling with excitement. Son Goku said excitedly. My own strength has improved a lot. I don't know if the gap with Lin Yan has narrowed a bit. And how powerful is the robot number 17 who can get rid of Vegeta with 2 moves? It seems that the number 16 behind him is also very powerful. What is the prize money for the champion? Just when Son Goku was excited to compete with the 2 in front of him, Lin Yan asked suddenly from the side. Ah, Son Goku was taken aback by Lin Yan's question. He only cared about fighting Lin Yan and the others, and didn't pay attention to the bonus issue at all. Of course, he never cared about the bonus in every world number 1 martial arts association, because fighting is more important to him than the bonus. 100 million bonus for first place, 50 million for second place. Vegeta on the side seemed to have expected that Son Goku would not be able to remember, so he said coldly to Lin Yan. 150 million. It's really a temptation that people can't refuse. Lin Yan pursed his lips and spoke slowly. I have been living in Bulma's house until now. Although Drive Breves and his wife are very hospitable, I always live in an uncomfortable place. And if I go to Bulma's house with myself on the 18th and live there for a long time, I think I will feel even more uncomfortable. So now, he really needs to have a home of his own, and this 150 million can just solve his immediate problems. As long as both myself and Brawley participate in the number 1 martial arts association in the world, there will be no suspense between the champion and the runner-up. Okay, I will participate. After thinking about it, Lin Yan didn't hesitate any longer, and directly agreed. For me, this bonus is almost sent to my eyes for me to pick up. It would be a bit too stupid to not want it. Hey. Hearing Lin Yan said to participate, Son Goku smiled excitedly, then looked at the 3 people on the 18th, and asked, what about you? Let's participate too. If you don't participate, it seems that the fun will be much less awe. It sounds interesting, so count me in. Number 17 smiled calmly, and also nodded. Anyway, I'm tired of playing now, the world's number 1 martial arts competition sounds quite fun. Anyway, idle is idle. I'm participating too. Number 18 also nodded without hesitation. A bonus of 100 million is enough to buy a lot of beautiful clothes for himself. After all, it's not good to keep grabbing. Hey, it's really exciting for all 3 of you to participate. Then you are on the 16th, you should join together. Hearing that number 17 and number 18 were participating, Son Goku looked at number 16 and asked. I learned from Gohan and Keelan that among the 3 artificial humans, number 16 is stronger than number 17 and no. 18. Naturally, he will not give up the opportunity to fight against such a master. My purpose is to kill you, I'm not interested in other insignificant battles. Number 16 seemed to be hostile to Son Goku, and said in a cold voice. Well, as long as you participate in the competition, you can also kill me. Son Goku said seductively. Is that so? Well, then I will participate. Hearing that there is a chance to kill Son Goku in the game, number 16 agrees without hesitation. After all, this is the purpose he was created for. Cut. Kakarot, why don't you act so excited? Looking at the excited Son Goku, Vegeta gritted his teeth and whispered. When I was fighting with myself, I never saw this guy so excited. Hey, since this is the case, let's see you in half a month. Son Goku clenched his fists tightly, thinking that there will be so many masters participating in the world's number 1 martial art half a month later, it really made his blood boil. Although now he can't restrain his desire to fight. However, Lin Yan and the cyborgs are very powerful, and during the half month, I must practice hard. Then, Son Goku and Vegeta left, and began to prepare for the No. 1 Budokai in the world in half a month. Only Lin Yan and number 18 were left in place. What are your plans next? After Son Goku and Vegeta left, Lin Yan looked at number 18 and asked. Now it seems that they must have lured him here on purpose just now, and I am afraid that they have been a little tired of playing in the past 2 months. After all, with their current abilities, there is nothing on Earth that can interest them too much. I'm tired of playing, and haven't figured out what to do next. Number 18 did not speak, but number 17 spread his hands first and spoke. If this is the case, why don't you 3 go to my place with me first? It's better than wandering like this. Lin Yan said seriously. If the 17th and the 6th pass by, Brawley should be able to play together, and they can also discuss each other at ordinary times, and the 3 of them will not be too boring. Of course, my ultimate goal is still number 18. I have no opinion. Number 17 shrugged. Fangzheng has nowhere to go now, so he was just looking for a place to stay. Number 16 said nothing, but he obviously didn't object. Anyway, he is now waiting for the arrival of the number 1 martial arts society in the world, so that he can accomplish his goal. Certainly. No. 18 Lu Mei frowned, obviously struggling very much. If he went with this guy now, he would lose good face, and seemed to agree to his confession in a different direction. But if I don't follow him, I really don't know what else to do now. I don't have a fixed foothold, and I always feel like there is something missing. Come on, if she rejects him now, maybe she will regret it later. After all, she knows very well in her heart that that annoying guy has already entered her heart unconsciously. Lin Yan kept staring at number 18, and when she felt relieved, he knew that number 18 had made up his mind. Let's go. Go home. He just grabbed No 18's hand and said with a smile on his face. Number 18 wanted to struggle, but this time Lin Yan held onto him extraordinarily firmly and didn't break free. I could only look at Lin Yan resentfully, and finally chose to compromise. Half a month passed quickly for many people, almost like a flash. But for Lin Yan, this half-month is simply a torment, the most difficult half-month he came to this world. After all, it is very, very difficult to reconcile two proud goddesses to live under the same roof. In the past half a month, Lin Yan felt that at least 1/3 of his brain cells had died. Fortunately, after my own mediation these days, the situation has improved significantly. The explosive smell of gunpowder at the beginning is obviously not as strong as before. But the two girls still don't talk to each other until now. Lin Yan is also very clear in his heart that the so-called freezing 3 feet is not a one-day cold, and this kind of thing must not be solved in a short time. He has prepared for this from the very beginning. But Bulma and No. 18, I will definitely not give up. Maybe I am a little greedy, but as a time traveler, I have the right time, place and people. If I still can't handle the two of them, it would be too embarrassing up. After half a month, the world's #1 martial arts association started in full swing. Son Goku and Vegeta showed up at Lin Yan early on. It seems that half a month is quite difficult for the two of them. Is this the Broly who defeated Vegeta? It looks really strong. When seeing Broly for the first time, Son Goku spoke excitedly. He could feel that Broly's aura was like a volcano. Although he tried his best to suppress it, there was no way to hide the vast energy. But what Son Goku said made Vegeta's face very ugly. Kakarot is really his enemy. Every sentence can always poke my own pain. If I don't know his character, I really suspect that this guy is deliberately targeting me. Oh, the breath of the two of you seems to have become a lot stronger. Lin Yan stared at Son Goku and Vegeta, and said lightly. He could feel that the aura of Son Goku and Vegeta in front of him was much stronger than half a month ago. Vegeta's improvement seems to be much better than Son Goku's. It seems that just as I thought, in order to surpass myself and Broly, Son Goku and Vegeta are also practicing desperately without stopping for a moment. Ah, Vegeta went to the spiritual time room, and his strength has indeed improved a lot. Abed, if he says no, now even I am no longer his opponent. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Son Goku nodded and said, I have to admit that Vegeta's cultivation talent is really good. After 2 days in the spiritual time room, his aura has undergone a qualitative change. Snort. Vegeta let out a cold snort, curled his lips, and his face softened a lot. Kakarot, this guy, finally said a pleasant sentence. Huh, what happened to Bulma and No. 18? They looked unhappy. At this time, Son Goku suddenly saw Bulma, number 18 and others standing behind Lin Yan and Broly. At this time, Bulma looked unhappy, and number 18 seemed to be a little emotional too. That idiot, no wonder Vegeta hates him so much. Lin Yan scolded Son Goku inwardly, this guy really can't see the situation clearly. I managed to get the two of them to appear together reluctantly, and there was a tendency to ease up a little. Didn't I just find something for myself by saying this at a time like this? Sure enough, after Son Goku's voice fell, both Bulma and number 18 glanced at Lin Yan coldly, and their faces became more and more ugly. Hey Vegeta, did I say something wrong? Seeing the complexion changes of Lin Yan, Bulma and number 18 at the same time, Son Goku quickly turned around and lowered his voice to ask Vegeta. What an idiot, when did you say you had a conversation? Vegeta gave Son Goku knowing white eyes, this guy practiced like a genius. How come when it comes to debating people and knowing things, you become a complete idiot? Is it really impossible to see the chaos situation? Don't say that, Vegeta, Son Goku muttered, but still didn't understand what he said wrong. Didn't he just ask Bulma and number 18? Okay, let's go. Lin Yan can only quickly end this topic, and let Son Goku continue. It is estimated that the relationship between Bulma and 18th has just eased, and it will become rigid again. Well, I can't wait any longer. Son Goku rubbed his fists, and couldn't restrain his excitement at the thought of fighting against these people in front of him. It's been a long time since I've fought against such a powerful opponent. Then, Son Goku and Vegeta disappeared in place with a flash. No. 17, Broly, and number 16 also followed behind them and headed to the venue of the number 1 Budokai in the world. For a while, only Lin Yan, Bulma and number 18 were left, and Lin Yan fell into an embarrassing situation again. Let's go too. In the end, Lin Yan could only touch his nose in embarrassment, then grabbed the hands of Bulma and number 18 at the same time, and instant transmission followed. But this time, it's rare for the two of them to have any quarrel, and they don't know whether they want to open up or have other ideas. Almost instantly, the three of Lin Yan appeared in the arena of the world's No. 1 Budokai. The arena is almost exactly the same as the arena of the world's No. 1 Budokai in Dragon Ball, surrounded by huge auditoriums, and in the center is a 1,000-square-meter arena. At this time, the auditorium was almost completely surrounded, and at a glance, there were dense crowds of people's heads. The noisy sounds seemed to be dispatched by Fengchao. It's really lively. Lin Yan looked around at the auditorium and smacked his lips. To be honest, this is the first time he has seen such a lively scene with his own eyes. Fortunately, the contestants and their families have special auditoriums. At this time, there are hundreds of contestants participating, and besides Son Goku and Vegeta, Son Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin are also in the queue of contestants. Sigh, I didn't expect such a small competition. Those who almost have to participate, it seems that this time I have no chance. Krillin glanced at Lin Yan, Vegeta and the others, and said in a somewhat dejected manner. Whether it is those Saiyans or the three artificial humans, they are all existences that can easily shoot themselves to death. I have no chance of winning at all. I didn't want to participate, but my mother insisted that I participate. Son Gohan also had a drooping face. Originally, he didn't want to participate at all. In front of his father and Lin Yan uncle, it was impossible for him to win. And at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded from the paddock. Next, we will invite all the contestants of our world's number 1 martial arts tournament to play. Looking along the voice, Lin Yan saw the number 1 commentator in the world in Dragon Ball, the man with gold hair and sunglasses. Holding the microphone high, he spoke impassionedly. Let me first briefly introduce the rules of this world's No. 1 Martial Arts Association here. First of all, what is different from the previous world number 1 Martial Arts Association is that because of the large number of participants this time, in the first round, we will adopt a melee mode, and the last 16 contestants who remain in the ring will be eligible to advance, so as to proceed to the second round of the competition, and the rest of the players will be eliminated. Second, the 16 contestants who have advanced will draw lots to decide their opponents, and they will fight in pairs, and so on, until our champion is produced. Third, the champion this time will also have the opportunity to compete with Mr. Satan, the world's number 1 fighting champion. Reward 10 million to show Mr. Satan's love for martial arts. Of course, it is not an easy task to defeat Satan, the world's number 1 fighting champion. Alright, enough nonsense, let's invite 180 players to the field and start the exciting competition. After talking nonsense, the commentator jumped off the ring and left the ring to all the contestants. Wow Kaka, who is Mr. Satan? He sounds very powerful. After the commentator finished speaking, Son Goku asked Vegeta beside him excitedly. He seems to have never heard of this person. HMPH, I don't bother to care, that kind of crap. Vegeta snorted coldly, and turned his attention to Lin Yan and Broly. Those two guys are the ones that the Martial Arts Association wants to challenge this time. Ah, I think exactly the same as I do. Vegeta. Seeing Vegeta's eyes turn to Lin Yan and others, Son Goku also said with a serious expression. Lin Yan is the opponent who makes him feel excited. However, Lin Yan didn't notice the gaze of the two of them. Even if he did, he didn't want to care about it. If they want to defeat themselves, they still have a long way to go. I didn't expect Satan to be so ignorant. But since he sent 10 million, it would be rude not to accept it. After hearing the words of the gold medal commentator, Lin Yan lowered his head and whispered. With such a little bit of strength, he started to act like a savior, it really doesn't know his face. In Dragon Ball, Son Goku, Vegeta and others disdain to compete with Satan and give up what they deserve to Satan, but they are not the same as them. It's your own and you can't let Satan take advantage of it. It seems that I can play. Standing behind him was number 17, watching the contestants stepping into the ring one by one, and said in a calm tone. Let's go up and move your body. Lin Yan turned his head and spoke to No. 18. Bulma, good news for our victory. Then he hurriedly said to Bulma. I'm afraid that Bulma's heart will be unbalanced. Bulma didn't speak, but nodded to Lin Yan, obviously not as angry as before. This bodes well for Lin Yan. Then, all the players stepped onto the ring. Wow, I have participated so many times in the world's number 1 martial arts association, and this is the first time I have fought with so many people at the same time. Son Goku glanced left and right, with incomparable excitement on his face, as if for him, as long as there was a battle, no matter how strong or weak the opponent was, he would be inexplicably excited. Ah, it is indeed the first time to participate. I hope I won't be eliminated in the first round. Keelan also nodded. He and Son Goku are very familiar with the number 1 Budokai in the world. While talking, he kept looking at Lin Yan and the others. What he is most worried about is those guys, they want to eliminate themselves, it is just a matter of an instant. At this moment, thunderous cheers and cheers sounded from the auditorium, and everyone looked excited. I don't know what kind of wonderful competition this year's Martial Arts Association will bring them. Since all the contestants are ready, the first round of the world's number 1 Martial Arts Association begins now. As the voice of the gold medal commentator fell, the entire arena instantly became a sensation. While Lin Yan and number 18 stood on the edge, their bodies were surrounded by an invisible energy barrier. Number 16, number 17, Broly and Vegeta also stood in place and did not make a move. Only Son Goku, father and son and Kling and the others had a great time fighting. The arena was in a mess in an instant, all kinds of punching, kicking, pulling and biting, street gangster fighting moves were used. Qianqi, is this considered a contestant? Seeing the chaotic scene, it was like a fight between punks. Vegeta gritted his teeth, he couldn't stand it any longer. Then he frowned tightly. Ah. The moment the roar came from his throat, a burst of Gold's energy aura erupted from Vegeta's body like a wave, sweeping the audience instantly. The terrifying impact directly sent 90% of the contestants flying, and landed heavily on the outside of the ring. Ah, shouting, so dangerous. Son Goku was unsteady on his feet, and was directly shaken to the edge of the ring by Vegeta's breath, touching the sweat on his forehead. Hey Vegeta, you are too messy. I was having fun just now. Then he walked towards Vegeta step by step, and said with some complaints. HMPH, only you, an idiot, will fight with those guys. Vegeta snorted coldly and said disdainfully. But at this moment, the auditorium, which was originally extremely noisy, was instantly silent at this moment, completely silent. Time seemed to be frozen, and everyone opened their mouths wide. What happened just now? Why all the contestants suddenly fell out of the ring just like that? No, they didn't fall out by themselves, but were pushed out by a strong force. Even though they were so far apart, they still felt that strong force. What happened just now? The gold medal commentator looked confused. What happened just now? A powerful force seemed to erupt from the center of the ring, and then almost 90% of the contestants were eliminated. But no matter what, as a professional gold medal commentator, you must be able to skillfully control the scene at this time. Afterwards, he took a closer look at the ring, and there seemed to be not too many players, but there were just 16 left. Although I don't know what happened just now to make most of the players eliminated, but there will definitely be more exciting matches in the future, let's wait and see. The audience, who were still in shock, were awakened by the narrator's voice. Indeed, as the narrator said, there will be more exciting Baiyao next. The next moment, the auditorium was boiling again. At this time, there was a figure, a rough man with curly hair and a beard sitting in the VIP room, watching the scene on the TV in front of him, trembling. Then, who the hell is that guy? How could they come to participate in this kind of competition? Satan, with a trembling expression, watched the slow-motion playback on the TV in front of him. The voice is full of horror. Because the spire-headed man in the center of the ring suddenly exploded with something like a gold flame, knocking almost 90% of the players out of the arena. And the rest of the people, just like that, are now on the ring without a trace. It seems that the arrogance of gold has no effect on them at all. It can be seen that they are extraordinary. At this time, on the field, the top 16 players have already been announced. They are Lin Yan, Broly, Son Goku, Vegeta, Android No. 18, number 17, number 16, Son Gohan, Keelan, Piccolo, Tien Shinhan, Yamcha, and 4 unknown contestants. 7, 2 or 3, can be seen. Those 3 players also have some strength, at least they can resist Vegeta's aura. For the common people, it should already be regarded as the ranks of the top masters. Next, the lottery begins. Hey, I really hope I can draw you. Son Goku walked in front of Lin Yan and said to Lin Yan with an excited smile. It seems that Son Goku has been in a state of excitement since he knew the number 1 Budokai in the world. But even if you get Broly, it seems to be good. Immediately, he looked at Broly and said, "You'd better pray that you don't get 2 of us, otherwise, you will be eliminated soon." Lin Yan looked at the excited Son Goku and said, "Although this guy's aura has improved a lot and he seems to be able to become the full power of common Super Saiyan, but if he draws himself and Broly, then he has no chance of winning." "That's not necessarily true. My strength is much stronger than it was 3 years ago." Son Goku squeezed his fist, and said with a confident face. It seems that the loss to Lin Yan 3 years ago is still fresh in his memory. Lin Yan was too lazy to waste time with Son Goku, so he walked to the place where the lottery was drawn and drew the first lottery. Soon, everyone got their numbers. After the lottery is drawn, teams of 2 will have a duel. For example, number 1 and number 2 will play the first round, number 3 and number 4 will have the second round, and so on. After the top 8 are born, draw lots again. The rules are fairly simple. I got the number 1 lottery in the first draw, really lucky. Lin Yan looked at the small green ball in his hand, with the word 1 written on the front. It seems that this first place is quite predestined with me. What's even more coincidental is that the guy who drew Zhong'er actually turned out to be that guy Son Goku. I actually got you in the first round. It seems that you are quite lucky. Son Goku showed off and took his 2 ball in front of Lin Yan, and said happily, "No, your luck is really bad." Lin Yan looked back at Son Goku. If he draws other numbers, at least he can have a few more games. After finishing speaking, his body jumped and jumped directly onto the ring. The other contestants temporarily returned to the auditorium to watch the game. The lottery is over, so the first match of the second round of the number 1 Budokai in the world, Lin Yan will face Son Goku. The match will start now. The gold medal commentator directly announced the start of the game. Son Goku. Such a familiar name. The commentator looked at the familiar name, and then turned his gaze to the ring. Yes, it's him. I didn't expect that after so many years, he would stand in the arena of the World's No. 1 Martial Arts Association again. It seems that this year's World's No. 1 Martial Arts Association will be very interesting. When the narrator recognized Son Goku, he spoke excitedly. The world's number 1 martial arts club, but there hasn't been a player who makes him feel better for several years. The level of excitement is far from what it was 10 years ago. Goku, come on, you must defeat him and get a bonus of 100 million. At this time, Chi-Chi, who was sitting in the auditorium, suddenly shouted for Son Goku. And Bulma and number 18 are sitting next to Chi-Chi. Hearing Chi-Chi's roar, both of them frowned. Number 18 suddenly looked at Bulma, then turned his gaze to Lin Yan, and also shouted, "Come on Lin Yan, teach Son Goku a good lesson, and you promise to use the bonus to buy me new clothes." Oh. Hearing number 18 next to him cheering Lin Yan up, Bulma was immediately unhappy, and gritted his teeth angrily. "Lin Yan, come on. You said that all the prize money you win will be kept by me." Seemingly feeling threatened, Bulma started to defend his home field with a loud voice. Forehead. Lin Yan on the ring was embarrassed. Why hasn't he started fighting yet? It seems that the smell of gunpowder off the stage is stronger than on the stage. Son Goku ignored Chi-Chi and Bulma at all, but looked at Lin Yan with a smile on his face. "Why, aren't you going to become a Super Saiyan?" Lin Yan also collected his attention, seeing that Son Goku didn't seem to intend to become Super Saiyan, so he asked. With his current strength, even if he becomes a Super Saiyan, he will be vulnerable to him. If he remains Super Saiyan, he will be no match for him. Ah, no need, try your strength first. The smile on Son Goku's face faded little by little, his expression became serious, his feet spread apart, his center of gravity sank, his hands became claws, and he placed them in front of him one after the other. Made a fighting stance. Ang. The next moment, Son Goku stepped on the ground with his back foot, and a crater instantly appeared on the ground, and his body shot towards Lin Yan like an arrow from the string. It appeared in front of Lin Yan in an instant. Ah da da da. Fist shadows were like the wind, howling around Lin Yan's body, but Lin Yan easily dodged them all. This result seemed to be expected by Son Goku, so Son Goku was not surprised, but accelerated his attack speed again. Attacking and dodging at this speed is a routine operation for Lin Yan and Son Goku. But for the commentator and other spectators below the ring, it was already shocking beyond measure. Because the bodies of the two were like two black lines flashing back and forth in the ring, they couldn't see clearly how Lin Yan and Son Goku fought. It's too powerful. It's completely. I can't see clearly. Are those two guys really human? In the auditorium, there was an uproar. Son Goku has become stronger than before. It's been 10 years. This is the number one Budokai I've been looking forward to for a long time. The gold medal commentator pushed his own sunglasses with trembling hands, and said excitedly. He has been waiting for more than 10 years for such a match in this arena. Ah da da. In the ring, Son Goku still launched a sharp continuous attack on Lin Yan. Son Goku, you'll never hit me like this. Seeing Son Goku, Lin Yan spoke in a calm tone. Son Goku's current speed, without becoming Super Saiyan, is really too slow. So slow that even if I close my eyes, I can avoid all his attacks. As for Son Goku, as if he didn't hear Lin Yan's words, he was still attacking wildly with reluctance. TCH, your stubbornness is useless now. Lin Yan snorted coldly, and then his body suddenly disappeared in front of Son Goku's eyes, just like that disappeared out of thin air. Nani. Son Goku was shocked. At that moment, he couldn't feel Lin Yan's aura at all, but Son Goku's combat experience is so rich, even if he couldn't feel Lin Yan's aura, he still turned around directly and punched behind him. But almost at the moment when Son Goku turned his fist, Lin Yan's foot landed heavily on Son Goku's face. Cha! After a crisp sound, Son Goku's body fell heavily on the ring, rubbed against the floor of the ring and slid directly to the edge of the ring before stopping. Goku. Seeing Son Goku being kicked away by Lin Yan, Son Gohan and Chi-Chi in the audience cried out in surprise. Unexpectedly, as soon as Lin Yan started to fight back, Goku couldn't resist it. TCH, that idiot Kakarot knew he couldn't beat him, so he turned into a Super Saiyan quickly. What the hell is he doing? Vegeta looked at Son Goku coldly. He didn't like Kakarot's provocations the most. If you use all your strength, you may be able to deal with Lin Yan. Nanani. Son Goku fell down. Can he stand up again? The gold medal commentator saw that Son Goku was directly kicked out and landed heavily on the ground, and he opened his mouth in shock. You must know that more than 10 years ago, when Son Goku was still a child, he had already won the championship and second place in the world's No. 1 Budokai. The current strength must be stronger, but it was defeated by an unknown player. How is this possible? There was also an uproar in the audience. Well, although I'm not reconciled, I have to admit that your 10,000 area and speed are stronger than I imagined. After the commentator's voice fell, Son Goku stood up, feeling the burning pain on his face, and said to Lin Yan. With the frightening speed at which Lin Yan appeared behind him just now, he has already determined that he cannot be Lin Yan's opponent. But even so, I have to fight him well to see where his limit is. And this time, he will go all out. Then I might as well tell you that right now, I haven't exerted even a 10,000th of my strength. Lin Yan responded lightly to Son Goku. Nani. Hearing Lin Yan's voice, Son Goku was stunned for a moment. He knew that Lin Yan would definitely not talk big. It is only 1/10,000th of the strength, and it has already reached this level. It is really strong and a bit overwhelming. But it quickly returned to normal. The more so, the blood in his body seemed to start to boil uncontrollably. Then, I can only become Super Saiyan. He clenched his fists tightly, and then bursts of Gold's aura erupted from his body. Aha! Accompanied by the last roar, the gold aura lingering around his body directly turned into a surging arrogance, lingering around Son Goku's body. That black's hair stood straight up and turned golden yellow, obviously it's Super Saiyan. Nah, Nani, that guy, something has changed. Why is the light of gold shining around him? 2. What the hell is going on? For a while, the entire auditorium was in chaos because Son Goku turned into Super Saiyan. I don't understand why that contestant's hair suddenly turned into gold, and there is a gold glow around his body. Are you making a movie? Wow, our Goku has become a Super Saiyan. Sure enough, my Goku is the most handsome and powerful. Goku, take care of that guy for me. Chi-Chi looked at Son Goku who became a Super Saiyan, and his face was quite excited, but he was thinking in his heart, he must talk about Goku after returning home. How can he become a delinquent boy in front of Gohan? What can he do if he leads Gohan? HMPH, it's not just Goku who can become a Super Saiyan, Lin Yan can also become a Super Saiyan, and he's much stronger than Goku. Looking at Jane, Bulma said a little unconvinced. 3 years ago she clearly saw Lin Yan defeat Goku and Vegeta casually. HMPH, our Goku must win in the end. And at this time in the ring, Son Goku has become the full power form of a super subhuman. The gold aura around him has disappeared, but judging by his appearance, he doesn't seem to plan to attack. What's the matter? Don't plan to attack. Seeing Son Goku's appearance, Lin Yan asked with some puzzlement. Could it be that this guy is still planning some scheme? Even after becoming Super Saiyan, I know I still can't beat you. Son Goku smiled and said suddenly. Then are you ready to admit defeat? Hearing Son Goku's words, Lin Yan asked. Of course not, since Super Saiyan can't beat you, then I will become a Super Saiyan beyond the limit of Super Saiyan. Son Goku said lightly, his eyes became serious. Super Saiyan beyond the limits of Super Saiyan. This time, Lin Yan was surprised. Listening to Son Goku's tone, has he been able to become Super Saiyan too? But I clearly feel that his aura is not very strong, so there should be no reason to become Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan beyond Super Saiyan. What the hell is Kakarot talking about? Hearing Son Goku's words, Vegeta's body trembled suddenly, and he let out a horrified voice. Is it possible that Kakarot can transform again in the form of Super Saiyan? This isn't possible. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.